your champion, your United States champion, the one and only, Zelina Vega. Zelina, how are you? Good morning and congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thanks, guys, for having me. Hi, Tommy.
Hello, my dear. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It hasn't happened for me yet because I haven't watched it, so that's why I didn't text you. But because I haven't seen it yet, so I live in the real world where I have to watch it before it happens. But I'm happy and so proud of you, as you know, I always am.
Thank you. You've known me since I was like a baby. So, I mean, TNA wouldn't have happened either without him. So, I don't know, kind of seeing it from then till now is pretty crazy.
Absolutely.
I think about it, and you've been a frequent guest on this show. You've been here in studio with us many, many times. And I want to talk about that journey because this is the first time that you've won singles WWE gold. And, this journey, the relationship with your father and him being the catalyst of you being a wrestling fan. And, I remember the first time you appeared at Madison Square Garden, how big that was for you. And then everything that's happened on this journey, but now holding this gold. So when you won this championship and when I saw the emotions on your face on Friday, that's real.
Yeah.
This journey was real. The promises and the commitments you've made are real. The ups and downs are real. So what was the first thought that came into your head when you won that championship?
I think it was more shock and disbelief than anything else because it didn't feel real until I heard the bell ring. Because obviously anything can happen, and as we have all seen, things kind of will change last minute. But once I actually heard the bell ring and heard him say "and knew," I was like, "Oh my God, this is like actually happening right now." So that's, I think, and it's funny because I hate crying. Like, I'm like, gangsters don't cry, bro. Like, I really don't like crying. But the two moments where I just allowed myself to be in the moment were the ones where I like kind of was the most raw. So it was Backlash and then this. But yeah, it was just, I don't know. I felt like my 8-year-old self just kind of popped out and was living in that moment.
And what went through your head? Like, were there thoughts or like just when that moment happens from the time you get the title in your hands to the time you leave?
I think it was. So here's the other thing. I'm usually super, super nervous. I mean, I'm always nervous. So, but that day, because of obviously my husband coming back, I was at such an ease. It was crazy. That never ever happens to me. So it was nice to feel kind of at ease, even during the match. Like I felt good. Like I didn't, feel any type of weight. However, I did feel because it was almost a year since I had won a match, let alone bring home any kind of gold. So I felt like the crowd kind of gave up on me, if I'm being honest. Like, I really felt that they were just like, okay, this is just another match, and then she's going to lose, and then we're going to move on, and Chelsea's going to be great, and la la la. But everybody in the arena was shocked. Like, everybody. And so even people backstage, actually, Tiffany was the first person, or one of the few people that I saw when I came back, and she was so happy, and she's awesome. But, like, it was nice to see just, like, from Tiffany to Naomi and Nia, just, like, seeing people, you always see it happen for other people where you go and they're clapping for you and they're happy that you won a title, but having that happen for me and then seeing my husband there, nothing like it. So yeah, I think like from the crowd finally going, oh my God, she actually did it, to then walking right into that love was crazy.
And, listen, when you think of certain formulas, right, you get the count out victory, right? You get the count out victory,
Yep.
Then you get the number one contenders match, and you get the pinfall victory. It almost felt like it was set up to fail, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like this is, like you said, here's the next match. Chelsea gets her win back, and
Yeah.
then she continues. But you're right. It's like, but then you heard the pop from the crowd. Like,
Yeah.
I went back and watched it again last night before going to bed, right after NXT, and the people, because it was such a shock to see all those people just stand up and go on, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
that's got to be great. Have
Yeah.
you gone back and watched it?
I have, and I'm just like, oh my God, you're such an ugly crier. But at the same time, I was like, oh my God, like I can see I was genuinely like shocked, and it just like shocked at how they reacted. Like I heard at the top of the ramp that side saying "you deserve it," and I was like, what? That's insane, So, and it's just with people who obviously, like, you guys have seen my journey and how long it took to get to this point. So, it's just really cool to see that people were actually shocked, because there's not many moments that people are actually shocked anymore. I mean, if we're being honest. So it was nice that they actually were like, oh my God, crazy.
What changed? Why, like, this decision? I know you're always such a hard worker. I know, you've gotten yourself in even better shape, which you're always in amazing shape. But like, what do you think changed between where they said we have to go with this with you?
I wish I could tell you.
That's awesome.
I wonder myself, honestly, because I mean, from obviously everybody wants to pitch stuff, storylines and whatever, but I think it was also just Chelsea and I coming together and wanting to do this together. And we're like, we think that this is a really cool idea. And but again, you can pitch a million things, doesn't mean that they're actually going to go for it.
Yeah.
So, but by the time they're like, yeah, okay, this is happening late in the day, mind you, we both kind of like, oh, that changes things. Okay, well, let's just go and do it, So, but I had a lot of fun with her. Like she's somebody who you can't help but just be in a good mood around, even though she can be a little annoying with that character of hers. But she just has this thing about her, this aura about her, and I loved being in the ring with her, and having that moment with her was really cool.
It's your first singles championship gold in the WWE, and you've had some amazing moments. Obviously, the match with Rhea in Puerto Rico and the crowd and the emotions of that. Was Friday night the best moment of your career?
I would have to say yes, but I've had some really close ones. Like obviously working with Ray, who's like my childhood hero, to
Yeah.
have like being the first female member of LWO, to everything that happened at Backlash. Like, it's they're all very close together. But I think from winning my first singles title to then walking right into like my husband coming back, it just felt right. And that's again that weird ease was really really nice for once. So I think yeah.
I think that's awesome. And speaking of your husband, Alistair Black, I texted him because that moment was incredible as well. To get the pop from the crowd, to get the welcome back chants.
Twice.
I mean, like, I felt so good because both your journeys have been crazy ones.
To say the
Like,
least, yeah.
and could you have written it any better? I mean, seriously, that you're both back in the WWE. He comes back to a great response from the crowd. On the same night, you win championship gold. Like, you can't write it better than that.
No, it really just felt like the fairy tale like ending to that. Like it just felt like the only other time I felt like something fit that perfectly was when Andrade and I were leaving NXT, and we kind of ended the story with Alistair, and then we kind of ended our story with Johnny and Candace, both tapping out to their finish, and it just felt like, okay, that chapter's closed, now we can go to a new one. And it felt like after everything that both him and I had been through, it felt like, okay, that chapter of the crazy is done, and now we can start this new chapter. And I think he was so ready for that. He was so ready to return home. And honestly, my favorite part was obviously seeing him go out there and do what he does, but Hunter hugging him afterwards and saying welcome home was really really nice.
Also, there's a big part about like representation as well as how other you make others feel and make others have hope. Um, your responsibility with that.
I feel like it's kind of grown. It's grown from just being, I guess like small in stature, because I think for me, Ray was really that. Like when I saw Ray, I was like, okay, if he can do it, like I can do it. So I kind of pulled inspiration from him. So I think it started off as that. But after Backlash, I realized after that it was way, way bigger, like just from like our culture to just being able to represent Puerto Rico, but just Latinos in general. So I think it's just grown a lot, and I feel like this responsibility now to Latinos, to little girls, to even gamers and my nerdy like culture people, like I love them, and there's just so many people that I feel like I have to keep going for and keep pushing for, because they're looking to me just like I looked at Ray or Lita or The Rock or the Hardys or whoever. Like I had my people that I looked to, so I feel like you need to be raw with, like you have to be raw with them. You have to show them that your true heart, because ultimately that's what people identify the most with. And it wasn't until Backlash that I feel like people actually got to know the real Zelina. So with a hint of Thea in there.
Yeah, a long time coming.
Yeah.
You know, wish it could have happened earlier, but it happened. And I think that's the important thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, I love seeing two people in love. I love when it works and the chemistry is right. You and your husband have an amazing relationship. And I think you two have probably grown so much because you've leaned on each other during these tough times.
Yeah.
How important was he in this journey, and how many times did you have to lean on him, because there's probably doubt in your mind whether this journey was going to continue or not?
Oh, 100%. I think everybody has that moment where it's like, oh my God. And Tommy, I'm sure I've texted you a bunch, like, how do I get out of this? Or like, what can I do to try and pitch this idea? Or like, what can I do here? Like, what can I do? Because I care about this so much. But, you know, there is a breaking point. Like, everyone's going to have a breaking point. And I think I was getting close to mine a few times. And that's when he had to kind of remind me, like, remember your why. Like, remember why you started this. Remember why you're doing it. And who's looking to you. So there's been a lot, a lot. And especially after obviously getting let go and then coming back, like, and then him obviously getting let go and coming back. It's just, there's been so many highs and lows, but if you have somebody that understands completely, it makes it so much easier. So yeah, no, there was a lot of times where I've had to just like rely on him to pick me back up because I didn't know if I can get it by myself. Same with the fans. I have some amazing fans, and for them, I'm like, there's times where I didn't have anything to show for why they should support me the way that they do, and they continue to regardless, and that's real love.
I mean, you were trending. There were times you were. What's that like when you're frustrated, but then, like you said, you know that your fans are frustrated enough to have you trending and a hashtag trending, and like that you have that support. Like,
yeah, it's crazy because you never think it's gonna be you. You know, you're always thinking like, oh, the bigger girls are like, you know, Becky or Bailey or whatever, but it just felt like people were so ready to push me to the front lines. And I don't know. Sometimes you have, I'm gonna be honest, like sometimes you have a little bit of imposter syndrome and you're like, okay, they're backing me really hard. Like I need to make sure I deliver. But it's incredible to have that kind of faith with people. Like they really believe in you that much to put that kind of hashtag out every single day. And it for the longest time, I don't even know how long it was trending for, but it was definitely over like 200 days. I remember they would do like a countdown. And but the cool thing is when I did win the championship, I saw that they were all celebrating that. So it was like this one girl, especially on TikTok, she was like, the Push Zelina movement, like we won, like it finally happened, you know? So it was cool to see that they felt like they also won with me, you know?
I'm trying to think of goals here. Goals, a long time ago, TNA, then of course WWE, Wrestle Madison Square Garden, action figure, video game, Funko Pop. Either I don't think Twitch was a goal, but it was like, wow, you got super duper over. Now winning a singles title, you've achieved a lot of your goals if you really do think about it.
Yeah. Yeah, but even like the because you know a lot of the first time evers were taken by the Four Horsewomen, and there wasn't a whole lot of them left. But by the time the Queen of the Ring thing came about, I was like, this has to be mine. Like this has to be. And to have that, and then being like first ever woman in LWO, then the tag team championship with Carmella. Like it seemed like there was a lot of things like, you know, because sometimes people will be like, oh, like when is Zelina really done? But then when you sit back and you look at it, I think I'm even kind of like shocked. I'm like, wow, I didn't think I'd be like be able to say like I made history, like I'm in the history books. Like that's insane to say out loud. So it's yeah, it keeps surprising me. If I'm being honest, it keeps surprising me, but in the best of ways.
what are you doing with that championship gold in the city today?
You know where I'm going.
I know.
Yes, and it's funny because I literally was like, the day that I get to do this, I'm gonna stop here first,
Thank you.
then go there. But I am going to the 9/11 memorial, and finally getting to put singles gold on my dad's name at the memorial. So I'm very, very excited to finally do that. And I mean, the thing is, it doesn't mean that, you know, the journey's over in that sense, because there's always a part of you that's like, I want the world title. I do. And I think if anything, this inspires me to show people who I am as a champion. And like you kind of have a duty to show them like how you can rock with that title too. So it's nice to be able to finally just do this and have that moment because I've wanted it for so long. So I think it's gonna be interesting. Plus, I'll have time to bring this to my grandmother's house. Tommy knows my grandmother, so she loves it, and my whole family loves wrestling. So it'd be nice to actually bring a piece of history home to them finally.
It's awesome. New York is where it's all started. So it's great to have you come back as a champion, and then you're on SmackDown. One of the most watched pro wrestling shows that there is. You're on the show as a champion. You're with your husband as well. This new era in the WWE, and Tommy and I talk about it all the time, financially, this is the biggest era of the WWE ever. So you're a part of that. You're going into a match where the championship and your dreams are all there for you to have. What was the pressure like going into that match? Because I was actually watching the match, and then when I watched it back, I'm like, and you're climbing the ropes, I'm like, my God, I would be so nervous and anxious doing anything in that ring, knowing what the outcome is going to be. So, like, was there that pressure in that match, or have you done it so many times it was just?
Oh no.
Okay.
No way. I get like hawks in my stomach every time. Like there's no like little butterflies. No, I'm always super nervous, but. As I said, there was like this weird ease that kind of came over me in the beginning. And then as the match kind of went on, I started to feel more and more like, I don't know, like a oh my God, like it's getting closer and closer. So like, it's coming. And, I think when the crowd, when the ref kicked out Piper and Alba and the crowd reacted to that, I was like, oh, here we go. Okay. So like, here's like, because you're going to ride that wave,
Yeah.
So it felt like, this is it. And I saw her kind of smirking too. So I was like, okay, cool. She's like in my head right now. But yeah, it felt like, I don't know, it just felt like things were right for once,
And Zelina, like, what a story. Think about it. Like you just mentioned it about when the ref kicked them both out and the way he did it and the crowd popped and the crowd was loud. Like it kept building and building to this moment. Like in that match, and you said, you've taken a lot of losses in your career. There were times where you felt like, all right, this is the jump start of something and it doesn't really happen. And you're probably thinking maybe the fans, like you said, are maybe not going to believe, but they believed that, like that this was actually going to happen. Like the story you both told in the ring on Friday night was absolutely fantastic. And
Thank you.
You obviously got to give a lot of credit to Chelsea.
Yeah.
But man, like you just said, you just felt the crowd getting more and more behind you, where you got the reaction that you did when that 3 count happened. It's so incredible.
Yeah,
What a great job.
Thank you. And honestly, like Chelsea is also one of those heels that she's over, So I was also kind of going up against that because it's like, well, there's this babyface that we kind of like, but she hasn't really won in a long time, so I doubt she'll win. But then there's this heel that's really funny, and we do enjoy her, so they started cheering for her. And I was getting I got booed in England, and a little bit, I believe it was in Chicago, but yeah, it was kind of crazy because that's never really happened. So I think her and I were kind of like, no, we're gonna make this distinction, heel, face. This is what's happening. Like we're gonna make sure that this is like. We needed something big to happen.
And fans are fickle right now. I mean, watching Monday Night Raw and they're chanting Braun Breaker to do it one more time against Sami Zayn, who's like the ultimate babyface.
Right.
Like fans, you don't know how they're going to react.
It's true. And I mean, everybody likes the bad guys now, So it's just like, how can you not? They're cool. Like whether you like them or not, they're cool. But it's I don't know. It's like you said. Things are changing, and you're kind of having to adapt as things are changing. So it's interesting for sure.
So what's next?
I want to have some good title defenses. That's what I really want next. It's like, okay, it's like work to get in, work to stay in. So now I have to make sure that people also realize, like, okay, yeah, she had this great moment, which that's what Zelina's known for. She's got these great moments, but let's think about like now having these title defenses and showing that she's a contender, that she's, a capable threat too. So, I'd love to wrestle like Dakota Kai or Mia Yim or like just getting to mix it up with some of the girls, like different girls, So, yeah, I love wrestling Shayna or even Kyrie, So I definitely want to get some title defenses in there, and I'm not done with Chelsea. I imagine I'm not done with her because I don't think anyone's ever done with Chelsea. But yeah, I mean, I'm willing to go at it with whoever. And I think the cool thing is we have Backlash coming up. We have Money in the Bank coming up. Like, there's so many opportunities to defend the title and to, just make it like, yeah, this is mine,
What's it like when you know that finally the company is behind you and they're committed to you? Like, what is that feeling of like, because that is the ultimate sign of respect, that we know that you have a fan base that's strong. We know that you can go in the ring and you can give great matches for TV. Here's this title because we believe in you.
I don't know if I felt it completely until I got to the back and got to talk to Hunter. Like, that's when I really, like, I had been waiting to take that picture for so freaking long because I stood in that picture for Andrade twice. So it was nice to finally have one for me, and I know everyone says, like, don't chase the hug, like, don't, whatever, but it is nice to be like recognized for the work that that you're putting in, whether it's in the ring or at home, So when you hear it from him and or Bruce and hearing like, congratulations, like, you earned it or you deserved it, it's like, or even just it's funny because I went to Road Dogg and he just like, we're just getting started, and I'm like, oh, that's so cool to hear,
awesome.
Like that's super dope. So but I watched I guess somebody was recording me and Hunter taking the photo, and I'm like, wow, I can see it in my face. I'm so nervous. That's crazy. Like, you still have these little, I call them like little kid moments. And that's when she likes to pop out a little bit, just to like live in that reality that she wanted for so long.
And I know Bully likes to say this, and the fans chanted, you deserve it. But I think you've really earned it. Like, you have done so much where you've earned that moment. And listen, I've known you for a long time. I know that there are times you probably said, this just isn't going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure there were times that you never thought you'd have that moment. And now you have that moment. And it's like, it's awesome. And I know I felt it in that moment. Mm-hmm. I just felt it when you were looking at that title and the expression on your face, and, and you couple that with, Puerto Rico and the match with Rhea Ripley, when all those fans are cheering and chanting your name. There can't be anything like that in the world.
Yeah, Backlash is going to be one thing that's going to be extremely hard to top, because that was just, I don't know and I've been asked this question a bunch of times, like, how did it feel? I can never put that feeling into words because it's not something that just comes, oh, felt nice. Like, there's so much involved in that. But going back to what you said, I feel like this feels like a win for them too, because as great as that moment was, I still lost that match. And yes, they were like, still, writing for me regardless. But now this feels like, okay, you guys remember what happened back then? Like, this one's for you guys now, because it took a while, but I feel like I owed them a win, And of course, I would love, love, love to go back to Puerto Rico. And I mean, even have a rematch with Rhea would be great, because Rhea's like my perfect opposite. I love wrestling Rhea, but it felt nice to actually have a win for not just me, but the people who have like rode for me for that long, people who like support me that much. It felt like a win for them too.
WrestleMania, obviously you're not a part of it. It's a letdown, but we always talk about the journey. I've recently said, like, the MVPs of the WrestleMania week were pretty much women. I also got to give major props to Io Sky and Roxanne Perez. They're working across brands. Is that something that you'd want to do as well? Go to NXT, go to Raw, defending your title.
Absolutely. And I think now that we have this connection with TNA and now we have this connection with AAA, I'm willing to go wherever. Like, this is what I've wanted to do for so long. So it's nice that I'm like, okay, now that we're on this, like, full speed ahead, let's go. So it's like Sleep, I don't know her. So it's it's nice to feel like I'm fighting for something and I have something to show for it, So it's something that I definitely want to do, and I'm open to anybody. Also, Io and Oscar are two people that I absolutely like, love having matches with. They are so incredible. When you hear Io, you're like, yeah, she's definitely like one of the best, male or female. Like, she is just incredible as a whole. So
Who's the one person you never worked that you want to work?
Stephanie Vercour. Yeah, Stephanie Vercour or Julia. Either one of those two.
I was going to ask you because this women's division just keeps getting stronger and stronger. You mentioned Stephanie, you mentioned Julia, like they making their presence known even across the brands. They both highlighted on Monday Night Raw this past Monday night. I mean, those you can start having these dream match scenarios now, and it's a completely different world. Like I remember you being a part of TNA and the segments you were involved with TNA, it always used to frustrate me because I think you were a baby face and they had you as a heel. It didn't make any sense.
Oh yeah.
But now you're in the perfect role.
Don't get me started, David.
Oh yeah.
Makes absolutely no sense. But now you look at TNA and where they are right now and the people who are in charge of TNA, and then you look at the WWE and now the people who are in charge of the WWE. It feels like those creative juices are really flowing in both those companies right now. And now you can, like you said, you can kind of morph into both those companies. Yeah,
and you can kind of solidify like your own legacy across the board, you know? So it's something that if you're a wrestler and you just love wrestling, it's the perfect scenario for you because you now get to explore different opponents or different arenas, different countries, different things that you've wanted to do for a while. I mean, the thing is, back in 2011, I would go with Sarita to Mexico and we would train at CMLL. And then in 2016, I was at Stardom. So like this has been an ongoing thing. This ain't brand new, like by any means, but it's like even Julia, I watched her before she got to WWE. So I'm like, I've wanted to wrestle her even prior to this. So it's nice that we actually have the opportunity to. And you never know who's going to show up. I mean, that's another thing. It's like you really have no idea. So it's almost like a, as I said, work to get in, work to stay in, because the competition is crazy.
How much better is life now, knowing that your husband is in the same workplace as you? Like, you guys have been on different shows, different nights, different companies. Like now, you're both working on Friday night. Like how much does like the quality of life improve with that?
It's amazing. And the thing is though, I feel like if everything is easy, you're not really going to appreciate it. And I feel like when it comes to him and I, we've overcome so much that nothing can break us. And it's nice that now we're kind of like, I guess, having the fruits of that labor, you know? So it's cool because now it's like we get to work on things together, like we have a ring at our house. So we get to like go over our matches and like, oh, what can we do here? Like getting to train with him is crazy because the way his mind is insane. So it's nice to get that from him, but then hearing stuff from Ray too. So I get to kind of like pick and choose and pull things from different people, which is really fun. And I think like it's a nice mixture of things. So, but for him and I, it just feels like everything feels right in the world and we're just going to like thrive. Cause I know he is so hungry to go into like really fun storylines and get started. Like he wants to just like kill it. And I know he will, but he's, I think because it's been so long, he's like, I'm ready to go like yesterday. Like, let's do this.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess there's got to, and listen, he was featured on TV with AEW, but I guess there's always that fear, like, are they going to remember?
Yeah.
Did he have that fear?
Mm-hmm. He did. But that whole sign, like, your wife is always right. I was like, you don't understand. I'm like, do you know who you are? Like, you're cool. Like, you don't just have a character like that and just forget about them. Like, it's not like he's an easy to forget, especially because he was on TV. So it wasn't like, he just disappeared off the face of the earth. But, I understand for him, he's like, well, we have all these younger fans coming in, like the little fans, like the young ones. So he's like, maybe they don't know who I am. And I'm like, regardless of if they know who you are or not, you look cool. So like, they're going to care, So the second that his music hit though, and I heard some people singing his song, I was like, I can't wait to just say, I'm like, didn't you hear them? What about if they didn't know who you were? What was that the whole thing you were saying before? No, but it was so cool. And I think he wasn't even expecting that reaction. He genuinely wasn't. Like he was like, I'm just going to go in there and hope for the best and just like be in the moment, see what happens. By the second welcome back, I could see it in his face that he was like, wow, they actually like, they like me. Like they remember, like it's cool.
And what's crazy? He's only been back for 5 days and he's almost had as many singles matches in the WWE as he had in AEW. 5 days? No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
But I mean, you know what though? To that, it's funny because a lot of people think that. A lot of people are like, well, we didn't really get to see him. So now I think more than ever, they're excited to see what he's going to do. So I think in a way it kind of works because it only doesn't work for him and his creative mind. Like, you can't keep someone like him tied down and just, oh, I'll accept the paycheck. Like, he's not one of those people. Like, he's came from a poor like state when he was in, Amsterdam. So like he worked hard for everything that he has. And so when it comes to this, like, I know he's going to work tooth and nail for sure.
And you know what's great about him is that, we knew him as Aleister Black. He goes to AEW and he's Malachi Black. And it was like, he's so talented that he got that over immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And he made you forget about Aleister Black because now you believe in Malachi Black. And then he comes back on Friday and it's like, all right, he's Aleister Black again and we're all in. And, and I would love to see it, again on the biggest stage of them all at a WrestleMania. His entrance is second to none.
Dude,
it's second to none.
It really is. It really is. Almost like, and now they're putting it in the middle of where the ramp is. They put it in the middle instead of it being off to the side. And I was like, that is so cool. Like, I mean, I'm married to you, so that's cool. Even cooler, so whatever. But, he's just got this mysterious kind of just enigma vibes to him that I feel people see a little bit of like, Enigma Jeff Hardy, or they'll see like connections with Undertaker, or see like connections with Bray Wyatt. Like, you get to pull all these mysterious kind of characters, but they're all different and they all had something different to bring. But I think that because people genuinely like gravitate to those kind of characters, he's automatically like just cool, So it's I think I saw there was a few comments that were like, oh, like he's bringing back like black and gold Aleister, like that's so cool. And I'll let him tell that story as to why he was just wearing the vest versus like what he was going to wear. But it's just cool, and the layers that he has planned out for what is going to happen is just so cool. And I love that Hunter's just letting him be him, because there's a difference between Aleister, Tommy, and Malachi Black just being him and allowed to work as such, versus somebody trying to control it. Like, oh, that's super cool. Let me try and like get my hands on that. When he gets to just be and create, it's like none other. So I love that Hunter's just like, let's do this together. I love that. And I think that that's the best case scenario for a character like that.
Yeah, and it's he's talented. You're super talented. Once again, I'm so happy that you had this moment.
Thank
I'm
you.
so happy to be, that you decided to come in today. Thank you for being a part of our show this morning. It means a lot because this is a win for everybody. You know how we've been friends for a very long time, but also as a fan of you, to see that moment. I know for Tommy, when he finally does watch it, it's going to be big. It's going to be big for him as well.
Okay.
And I'm just super excited for you, and enjoy this day. Enjoy the moment with your dad and share that moment, because God, he must be looking down right now with a smile from ear to ear, so proud of what you've become. And
Thank you.
I know, knowing you, I'm proud. So
Thank you.
Congratulations. I can't congratulate you enough.
Thank you so much. I honestly, it's still, I was telling Josiah, I'm like, it's still very much this is real. Like, I have to sometimes, like, this hasn't left my sight. Like, I've slept next to it. I've carried it around. My cats have taken photos with it. Like, it's been everywhere, because I still, I'm like, this is something that I have to like really feel, like really be in the moment and just feel it. Because you never know how long something like this is going to last. But yeah, this feels like, it just feels like a win that I've been waiting for. So I'm like, God, it still pinched me. Is this still a thing? Like, okay, cool. So, but I wanted to stop in here for sure, because this is a part of my journey too. Like, you guys have supported me since Jump Street. I call Tommy my wrestling dad, so it's nice to just feel like I'm surrounded by family in this way too.